there's a grave danger that new students of theology face. The number and complexity of theological topics can be overwhelming. In fact, the field is so large that many students can do little more than barely learn the raw data of these topics. As a result, students often find themselves focusing almost exclusively on orthodoxy because there's so little time to explore other dimensions. Well, in these lessons, we want to avoid becoming overwhelmed by the vast array of theological topics. So, rather than trying to introduce the entire encyclopedia of theology, we're going to limit ourselves to just a few select subjects. As we move forward, we'll concentrate on the aspects of theology that we'll call pastoral theological concerns. What we mean by this is those sets of beliefs, practices, and pathos that are more directly beneficial for pastors and church leaders. We'll be asking ourselves questions like, how do people training for church leadership need to approach the study of theology? What do they need to know? What do they need to do? And what do they need to feel theologically? Happily, we don't have to invent answers to these questions. The Church has already pointed in several important directions. As theological education has developed over the centuries, a consensus has grown among a variety of denominations throughout the world. Today, there's general agreement on the kinds of topics that need to be covered when educating leaders in the Church.
When it comes to discussing which theological topics are important in developing Christian leaders, one can think of any number of them. First of all, the Bible from the Old Testament to the New is all about God's kingdom and holy covenant. There are also the traditional topics of systematic theology, such as theology proper, Christology, pneumatology, anthropology, eschatology, and so forth. Of course, there are even more relevant topics such as practical theology and church history. For me, as someone who especially focuses on the development of church leaders, they need to know how to evangelize, pray, and have the gift of teaching. Evangelism in particular isn't just a matter of teaching a crowd, but a church leader has to lead disciples just as Jesus did with the apostles. The scope involved here is quite broad.